All right, let's jump right in. I want you to think about something for a second. What if your mind is basically running on software? And what if I told you that you, yes, you, could actually get access to the source code and rewrite the programs that are shaping your entire life? This quote right here, it's everything. Think about it. So much of what drives you, your habits, your gut reactions, your biggest fears, it's all just an automatic program. It's running in the background. And here's the kicker. You never chose to install it. You know that feeling, right? Where you feel stuck. It's like you're trying to run forward, but you're fighting this invisible headwind. You've got the talent, you've got the ambition, but something is holding you back, locking you into the same old patterns. Okay, to make this less abstract, let's talk about someone. We'll call him Mark. Now, on the outside, Mark is killing it. He's a successful CEO, a leader in his field. But what no one sees is what's going on inside. Secretly, he's terrified that any minute now, someone's going to tap him on the shoulder and say, "We figured it out. You're a total fraud." And that feeling, that's what we call imposter syndrome. But it's not just a random thought. It's a program, a really stubborn line of code that just refuses to be deleted. And this code, it was running his life, making him overwork, pushing away people who could help, all while living in this constant state of fear. See, Mark wasn't broken. He was just running on some really outdated software. And here's the thing, Mark's problem isn't some rare bug. It's actually incredibly common, which brings us to our first major topic, your mind's outdated software. So many of us are trying to deal with today's AI-augmented world, but we're doing it with mental programs that got installed way back in our childhood. It's like you're trying to run the latest video game on a computer from 1985. It's just not going to work. Now hold on, because this next number is going to blow your mind. According to cognitive neuroscientists, a whopping 95% of your mind's processing happens unconsciously. That's your decisions, your emotions, your actions, all of it. Only a tiny 5% is the stuff you're actually aware of. This iceberg visual, it's the perfect way to picture it. That little tip sticking out of the water, that's your conscious mind. That's the 5%. But the real power, the other 95%, is that massive chunk of ice hidden below the surface. That's your unconscious mind. Let's call it the basement programmer. It's down there running the whole show, from keeping your heart beating to holding on to your deepest beliefs about the world. So, the big question is, how does this basement programmer actually work? Well, it builds your reality by filtering everything. And this is so important to get. You are not responding to reality itself. You're responding to a highly edited, super compressed map of reality that your brain creates just for you. And the scale of this filtering operation is just, well, it's insane. Every single second, your senses are getting hit with something like 2 million bits of information. Sights, sounds, feelings, all of it. If your brain tried to process all that, it would be a total system meltdown. So, to keep you sane, it compresses it all down to a tiny little piece it can handle. And it does this using 3 universal filters. First up, we've got deletion. This is exactly what it sounds like. Your brain just ignores stuff. It deletes any data that it thinks is irrelevant. You know how you can get 3 emails full of praise for your work, but the only thing you can think about is that one tiny piece of criticism? That's deletion in action. Your brain's must-find threats program just deleted all the good stuff. The second filter is distortion. This is when your brain takes what's happening and kind of twists it so it fits the story you already believe. So you're talking to a coworker, they glance at their watch, and your brain instantly distorts that into, "Oh no, they think I'm boring." When really, they're probably just worried about being late for a meeting. Your program is just filling in the blanks to prove itself right. And finally, there's generalization. Now, this one's tricky because it's how we learn things, which is good, but it can also build these huge limiting walls around us. Let's say you mess up one time during a speech. Your brain takes that single event and creates a massive, sweeping rule. I am a terrible public speaker. Bam. Just like that, one bad experience becomes a core part of your identity. Okay, so now that we know how the program works, we get to the really interesting part, identifying your mental bugs. This is where you shift from just being run by the program to becoming the observer who's watching the program run. You start to see the code, and more importantly, you start to spot the glitches. Have you ever wondered why it's so hard to change a habit? This diagram explains it perfectly. Most of us, we try to fix things at the behavior level. I'm going to stop procrastinating. But the real problem isn't the behavior. It's a bug at a much higher level, maybe at the identity level, where the code says, I'm the kind of person who isn't good enough. And guess what? The higher level code always wins. So let me ask you, think about a habit you've been trying to break. Were you attacking the behavior itself, or did you ever look at the deeper beliefs driving it? Because trying to debug at the wrong level, well, it's like trying to fix a major software crash by just turning the computer off and on again. It's never gonna work. All right, this is where we roll up our sleeves. It's time for debugging your inner code. Because, just finding the bugs isn't enough. We need some actual tools to go in there and patch the source code. And the good news is, we can absolutely do this. So let's look at a super common example from the workplace, the team conflict debug. Picture this. You've got two brilliant developers on your team. They're both top-notch, but they are constantly at each other's throats. They can't agree on anything, and a huge project is grinding to a halt because of it. So what's the real problem here? It's not about who's a better coder. It's a classic clash of mental maps. Developer A's map of the world says, what matters most is being fast and innovative. But developer B's map says, no, what matters most is stability and code that's easy to maintain. Now, here's the key. Neither of them is wrong. But because they're both defending their personal map as the one and only reality, they are completely stuck.
So how do we patch this bug? There's a really powerful tool for this called perceptual positions. It's basically 3 steps. Step 1, you just state your own map, your own position as clearly as you can. Step 2, and this is the magic, this is the real debug, you literally step into the other person's shoes. You try to see the world from their map. What do they care about? What pressures are they under? What does a win look like to them? And then step 3, you step out of both positions and become a neutral third party, like a fly on the wall, just observing the whole situation. This simple process can completely break the cycle and open up solutions you never saw before.
And all of this, it brings us to our final and honestly most powerful idea, becoming the programmer. Because here is the biggest takeaway of all. You are not your programs. Let me say that again. You are not your programs. Those old beliefs, those fears, that imposter syndrome, that's not you. It's just old code. And you can become the one who writes the new code. This quote right here just nails it. As long as you're fighting for your map, defending it as the truth, you're trapped inside it. But the very second, you can say, wait a minute, this is just one map. It's not the whole territory. Suddenly, you're free. You have the power to draw a completely new one, a better one. Think about it. Your entire life up to this point is simply the output of the programs you've been running. And realizing that, that's not just a cool thought experiment. It's a game changer. What you're doing right now by listening to this is learning how to read your own source code for the very first time. So I'm going to leave you with a final thought to chew on. If you weren't being run by your past, if all those old programs from your childhood just vanished, who would you actually choose to be today?